Good afternoon, 4th grade. We're going to continue reading in our novel, James and the Giant Peach. Before we get started, you have a quick write. It says, read the introduction of the silkworm text. How did silkworms get their name? Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the focus question. We have a text about silkworms. This is a picture of silkworms, and if we read the introduction, it says, the Chinese first domesticated silkworms around 5,000 years ago, and for 3,000 years the Chinese kept the secret of how to use them to produce silk. In China, there is a legend that the discovery of the silkworm silk was by an ancient empress called Zai Ling Shi. She was drinking tea under a tree when a silk cocoon fell into her tea. She picked it out and started to wrap the silk thread around her finger. She slowly felt a warm sensation. When the silk ran out, she saw a small larva. In an instant, she realized that this caterpillar larva was the source of the silk. She taught this to the people, and it became widespread. There were many more legends about the silkworm. Silk was a luxury item and remained a Chinese secret until 6 AD, when 2 Persian monks smuggled silkworm eggs out of China in a hollow walking stick. Alright, so this is an adult silkworm with wings, and this is a juvenile silkworm. Alright, and so they actually produce silk. That's how they got their name. Alright, so press pause to write down your answer for the quick write and play when you're ready for the focus question. Our focus question today is, how does James respond to challenge? What themes are developed through his response? Our vocabulary words are innovative, and that's when you have a new idea. You're a creative thinker. Draw a line to this picture. Panic. That's when you have a sudden, uncontrollable fear. Draw a line to this picture. And then the last word is lasso. And that's when you take a rope that has a circle on the end, and you try to get that circle around an animal's neck. You try to lasso them. All right, go ahead and turn the page, and we are in our novel on page 58, chapter 19. And we're going to be using our CSPS strategy. Let's get started. Look, cried the centipede just as they were finishing their meal. Look at that funny, thin, black thing gliding through the water over there. They all swung around to look. There are 2 of them, said Miss Spider. There are lots of them, said the ladybug. What are they? Asked the earthworm, getting worried. They must be some kind of fish, said the old green grasshopper. Perhaps they've come along to say hello. They are sharks, cried the earthworm. I bet you anything you like that they are sharks, and they have come along to eat us up. What absolute rot, the centipede said, but his voice seemed suddenly to have become a little shaky, and he wasn't laughing. I am positive they are sharks, said the earthworm. I just know they are sharks. And so, in actual fact, did everybody else, but they were too frightened to admit it. There was a short silence. They all peered down anxiously at the sharks, who were cruising slowly round and round the peach. We'll stop right there because we have information about our character and setting. In box 1, we would write, the characters notice that sharks are swimming around the peach. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the quote. And for the quote, we will write down this sentence that Earthworm said. They are sharks, cried the earthworm. I bet you anything you like that they are sharks, and they have come along to eat us up. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the setting. For the setting in box 2A, we would write, the creatures have just finished eating at the top of the peach as they float along in the ocean. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the quote. And for the quote, we write down this first sentence of chapter 19. "Look," cried the centipede just as they were finishing up their meal. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready to keep reading. And now we're listening for the problem. We're at the top of page 59. "Just assuming that they are sharks," the centipede said, "there still can't possibly be any danger if we sat up here." But even as he spoke, one of those thin black fins suddenly changed direction and came cutting swiftly through the water, right up to the side of the beach itself. The shark paused and stared up at the company with small, evil eyes. "Go away," they shouted. "Go away, you filthy beast!" Slowly, almost lazily, the shark opened his mouth, which was big enough to have swallowed a perambulator, and made a lunge at the peach. They all watched, aghast. And now, as though a sign from the leader, all the other sharks came swimming in toward the peach, and they clustered around it and began to attack it furiously. There must have been 20 or 30 of them at least, all pushing and fighting and lashing their tails and churning the water into a froth. Panic and pandemonium broke out immediately on top of the peach. "Oh, we are finished now," cried Miss Spider, wringing her feet. "They will eat up the whole peach, and then there will be nothing left for us to stand on, and they'll start on us." "She's right," shouted the ladybug. "We are lost forever." All right, we'll stop right there because we have information about the problem. In box 3A, we would write, "The sharks began to take bites out of the peach, and the creatures are scared that they are going to die." Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the quote. And for the quote, we will write down this sentence on page 59. And now, as though at a signal from the leader, all the other sharks came swimming in toward the peach, and they clustered around it and began to attack it furiously. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready to keep reading. Let's go ahead and turn the page. We're at the top of page 60. "Oh, I don't want to be eaten," wailed the earthworm, "but they will take me first of all, because I am so fat and juicy and I have no bones." "Is there nothing we can do?" asked the ladybug, appealing to James. "Surely you can think of a way out of this." Suddenly they were all looking at James. "Think," begged Miss Spider. "Think, James, think." "Come on," said the centipede. "Come on, James. There must be something we can do." Their eyes waited upon him, tense, anxious, pathetically hopeful. We'll stop right there because we have information about the solution. In box 4A, you would write, "All of the creatures looked at James and asked him what they should do." Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the quote. And for the quote, we will write down this sentence at the top of page 60. "Is there nothing we can do?" asked the ladybug, appealing to James. "Surely you can think of a way out of this." Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the paragraph. And for the paragraph, it says, "How does James respond to challenge? What themes are developed through his response?" And so you'll need to talk about the challenge about the sharks eating the peach and how all of the other characters have turned to James. They are wanting James to solve their problem. And this reveals to us that James has become a leader in his group, and they are all willing to work together.